Welcome to Gospel Greetings number 76. Last week we talked about humility from James 4:6, which says, God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. John Brooks suggested that humility is important and under discussed. We quoted Father Bob Bedard, Jim Collins, and sang a country song. Not too bad. This week we continue on this under discussed topic of humility from 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 4-6, which say, when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away. All of you, clothe yourselves with humility toward one another, because God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Look at verse 5. All of you clothe yourself with humility toward one another. Peter uses the term clothe yourself with humility. Sounds strange? Well, maybe not, because Paul uses the exact same terminology in Ephesians 4 and Colossians 3, where he talks about a putting off and putting on like clothing. We all get dressed appropriately for going to the office. Some of you wear suits every day. Some of you are more casual. You may have a shirt with a logo, but very few of you wear flip-flops, cut-off jean shorts, and a muscle shirt to work. You dress in a way that is appropriate to your role. I think this is exactly what Peter and Paul are saying to us here. It is like we, who are leaders in the marketplace, clothe ourselves with the humility of Christ, for he was humble of heart. It's like Jesus' humility is our business attire. So as you go to the office today, I encourage you to put off pride, put off conceit, and make a conscious act in your will in prayer to put it off, and then put on humility of Christ like a suit. You say, Kari, that's all good, but why bother doing this? I have enough stuff on my plate. Well, I have three reasons for you right from 1 Peter 5. The first reason is to receive a crown of glory. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Look at verse 4. It says, and when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away. This is a crown that will never fade. Like your 2021 sales crown, that'll fade. The NHL scoring crown, that'll fade. By 2022, they're both gone. But this crown that God gives us will never fade. It is an eternal crown. The second reason is that God gives his grace to the humble. We've already looked at verse 5. God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. God will give you his strengthening grace. He will give you his favor. And what does he do to the proud? Oh, he opposes them. And I don't think I want that. The third reason that we see from these verses is that God will lift you up. Look at verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. This is another great promise of God lifting you up. He loves to exalt those who embrace the humility of Christ. Those who try to exalt themselves, though, God will suppress. So Peter has given us some very strong reasons why we should trust God and put off pride and conceit and put on humility like a suit today. If you don't know how to do this, there are 6 ways from a recent John Piper sermon. I provided the link to this message in the email, and I'll go over them here, and you can look at them in the email. But the first one is give God the credit. Give God the credit. The second is recognize God's gift. Recognize his gifts to you. The third is depend on God's provision. Depend on him. The fourth is cherish the gospel. Cherish it. The fifth is to serve others. Serving. The sixth is to know true greatness in Jesus, the greatness of Jesus. I hope these are a help to you as you clothe yourselves with Christ's humility today.